Hello, it's Grax here, and today we will test new stuff on the block for our 35mm Tinywhoops, which are new propellers from Jumpfan, and I have two versions. So first one is tri-bladed Jumpfan 35mm S, so this is the tri-bladed version, and also the bi-bladed version. So these props are 35mm, and I'm really excited that they made also the bigger version of the original 31mm props, and we will see how well they will perform. So the first step, we will compare the weight of these sets of the props by their earlier versions that I used. So old, trusty and already really great Jumpfan 41mm that are cut down to 35mm. I was doing it with my first 65 Pro build. They weighed 0.93 grams for this set of 4. And these new 35 S's weighed only 0.72 grams for the set of 4. Also, in comparison, for the tri-bladed version, I have original props for 65 Pro from Beta. So these are Jumpfan's 35mm tri-bladed. So you have 1.3 grams set of 4. And for the set of 4, these new Jumpfans, we have only 0.95 grams. So literally, set of tri-bladed of this is the same weight of set of this bi-bladed, which is really nice. So we see really big weight reduction in this. For the test platform, we will use my new updated 5-in-1 racing Tinywhoop build, which is right here. So this build is my latest iteration of the Tinywhoop racing build on the newest Beta FPV 5-in-1, because the original video with 5-in-1 I had some VTX problems. Beta FPV sent me replacement and I successfully replaced this board by the new one, and now I don't have any problems with the VTX. Also, I made a custom antenna. This is lightweight, normal dipole antenna, and even when I'm using normal dipole antenna, not a copper wire, this build weighs around, we can see, 16.7 grams. So 16.7 grams is really nice for a 65 Pro tiny build. So this frame is a little bit bigger than standard 65R, and I noticed that also is way more durable and stiffer. So even when this Tinywhoop can be a little bit heavier than a 65R, which I have even right here. So this is 65R, and I have both of these frames, so I tested this one really great and this one also. And I noticed that it's these ducts are way more fragile because they are thinner, and whole frame flexes a lot more than a 65 Pro. And when you modify 65 Pro by cutting out these struts and drilling a couple of holes, the difference is really not big. Maybe it's like 0.3, 0.4 grams between these frames. But this one is like 2 or 3 times more durable and also easier to pit tune because it's stiffer. So I dropped the brand new fresh props on my motors, and a first issue that I noticed, because these props are really motor friendly, so they sit so low that even a piece of shaft sticks out. So this is amazing for your motors, because it will be way harder to bend your shaft, but they sit so low that you can see they are at the bottom space of the duct. They're really low, and even before my modification they were under the duct, so they will hit the duct connections, which is really not great for the connections itself, but also for the prop. So you will see the marks on the props that we are hitting the connections. So I 3D printed just thicker TPU washers under my motors. I just raised my motors by 1 millimeter, and it just solved my problem. And now it's really great. When I crash, I don't have these marks on the props, and also I will not damage these connections. I have a couple of variants of these TPU washers. They are made from rubber. I also noticed that they work amazing if you want to isolate the noise from the motors, and also will increase lifespan of your motors, because during the crash the motor can flex on this rubber hub and will just receive less force. Of course, my test will be not 100% professional, because I'm just a beginner flyer, so I will just share my thoughts on these props. Maybe also you can check out other people's opinions. This will be just my opinion about these propellers, so we will see it. So the first test will be with the bi-bladed version of these propellers, and I could feel that they have so much top and they're crazy fast propellers, and I don't even use full throttle inside the house, because the whoop just is accelerating to such a fast speeds. Of course, I can feel a little bit more drift on the turns, but the top end is crazy. If you have like big track with a lot of straight lines, these bi-bladed props will be amazing for this task. Also, the efficiency is crazy great. On bi-bladed version, when fast flying, I can get from 3.5 minutes to like a 4.5 minutes, so it really depends how much you push this Tinywhoop, but the flight time is way better than like on regular 65mm air. Now we will test the tri-bladed version. So of course on tri-bladed we will have a little bit more amp draw, but also a better grip on the turns. So I can feel that Tinywhoop literally with this weight it flies like a laser, because we have only 16.7 grams. We have 35mm prop, so it is no-brainer that it will fly amazing, and it is. So it's fly like a laser. It has still good amount of power, but not as much top end as the bi-bladed version, but way more, but way better for the technical tracks. When you have a lot of turns, a lot of small gaps, the tri-bladed props will be the best for this task.
I experienced a spiritual awakening to be given the means and privilege to make others happy.
did also a small bonus flight with the heavier whoop. So this is my original first racing Tinywhoop that I made a video of. So it's utilizing crossover for separate VTX. Only thing literally that I changed on this Tinywhoop, I installed the lighter nylon screws, and the same my custom VTX antenna that is just a lighter from the stock one. So this build is heavier from the previous one because this is the separate VTX unit, so it will be a little bit heavier. It's 17.6, and on this same Genfan 35mm SS it still flies like a champ. It flies so great. I really didn't feel so much of more of this weight because it was still flying better, but of course I got a little bit less flight time. I can even tell you that this way heavier quad was flying longer than this 65R frame whoop. That it's only 15.4, of course without the props. So with the props we will have something around 16 grams, so it's over a 1 gram lighter, but it flies shorter. Why? Because frame is flexing a little bit more, and with the same piton you get less flight time even when this Tinywhoop is lighter. So this is really interesting, and maybe also the reason why I'm switching from the 65R to 65 Pro. In my opinion, this frame is way better. And also one bonus information: if you crash if you are a beginner like me and crash a lot, you can use 31mm props on 65 Pro frame, and it's really not stupid because you have a lot of room, a lot of safe room. If you hit something, you need to hit it really hard to reach the prop. Higher chances that you will just bounce off and fly away instead of that roll and land on the ground. Also, if I give you only the goggles and the radio and switch drones, I really bet that you couldn't tell the difference that on this 65 Pro I gave you 31mm props. Of course, better props like these HQ ultralights, the difference is so small in performance. Like by flying it you cannot tell the difference, only maybe a flight time is a little bit shorter because of course smaller propeller is less efficient, but by the behavior, by the handling, it also flies really great. So that's everything for this video. I wish you Merry Christmas and stay creative.